So Thomas Lee, in this interview with Heidi from
Crypto Tips.
She's on Steam it as Heidi Travels.
Okay.
But on YouTube, she's Crypto Tips. I watched the whole interview. It was awesome. And I pulled some of the, a few of the clips. And I wanted to play a few for you and get your take on it.
Year to date, only 3 tokens have had an increase in daily active users, or what we call daily active addresses, which is Stellar Lumen, EOS, and Dogecoin.
Dogecoin always.
and they're the 3 best performing tokens this year.
Dogecoin.
I
made a ton of money on Dogecoin last year. And I got out of it because I'm like, hey, it ain't gonna happen again. But you know what? People are swearing by. I mean, Dogecoin. It's almost like everybody's in it just because it's a funny thing. It's like there's like
yeah. That's what I totally agree. He actually referred to it as maybe it had like a working capital. And he actually said it just like that. Maybe it's being used for working capital for some people or something.
Right.
Like no one can really figure it out. But what did he say though? He said is that what was his exact words?
Year to date, only 3 tokens have had an increase in daily active users, or what we call daily active addresses, which is Stellar
Lumen.
Daily active increase in daily active addresses.
Stellar Lumens,
EOS,
and Dogecoin.
Dogecoin.
Right. So, Ethereum, number 2 on the list on CoinMarketCap.
Right.
Number 2. 8 months ago, when everybody was, a lot of people were calling it a joke and a scam and all that kind of stuff, those people are kind of looking at it now going, wait a minute. So it just shows that in, when did it go? June it went live?
June, yeah.
June, July, August, September, October. 5 months. We're not even in half the year yet. And the thing is already performing better than some of the big guys that are out there, Litecoin, Ethereum, all of them.
Right.
So back in July, you predicted that Bitcoin, well, first, I think earlier in the year, you thought Bitcoin would hit 25,000 by the end of this year, and then you kind of scaled that back to 22,000. Are you still sticking with that prediction, or?
I think people are too bearish. What happens is, people get bearish because it makes sense. I mean, market's been terrible and we're below our 200-day, but Bitcoin's break even by the end of this year is going to be close to 8,000 or 9,000, and historically it's traded at 2.5 times that. So that's 22,000. That's how we get the 22,000.
I see.
I've always found that when markets are bottoming, and we believe Bitcoin's bottom because we think 6,000 is the floor. The one thing that's everyone's psychology is going to do is they're going to immediately give 100% probability to the negatives, and then they give the lowest probabilities to the positives. And so where can the surprise take place? I know a lot of people think Bitcoin could, collapse to 3,000. I think what's more probable surprise is we have a very explosive increase in price.
So, and he's saying the probability of a surprise would be it just starts going up again. You know what I mean? Not down.
Right.
Which I thought was kind of neat. But anyway.
And what he was saying was...
He says he thinks the floor is 6,000.
He thinks the floor is 6,000, and
he's going to tell you in a second, if you want to play it, I can, how he bases that.
Yeah, go ahead.
The way we define it on our data science team is it's the cost of mining plus the cost of electricity plus the transmission cost of electricity plus the overhead. And that gets to around $6,000 Bitcoin right now. I don't think it's a coincidence that Bitcoin's holding 6,000, because I think it actually acts like mining is the floor for Bitcoin. Miners, miners are in the business of Bitcoin mining because they actually believe in the project. So what they know is that at 6,000, they're pretty much only going to sell the Bitcoin they need to pay their staff, but they actually are more likely to want to retain it, especially because they know Bitcoin can be violently move upwards. And so they're trying to seek some banking, right? So I think miners here are actually trying not to dump their Bitcoin, and I think that's why it's acting the floor.
If you're a miner, then there's your formula, and $6,000 is the floor, which is kind of arbitrary because, like, I know David has a different electricity price here in South Carolina on nuclear power than, you know, other people in other places. So that's probably a variance, right? But that is pretty neat to think that that is why the floor right now is 6,000, because the miners are like, hey, if we sell for anything less, we're losing money.
Right.
We're actually physically losing money every day. So we can't do that. We'll hold at 6,000, knowing the upside potential is huge.